Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Help on the Way podcast, where we are featuring October 30th, 1983, at the Marin County Veterans Auditorium in San Rafael, California. I am your co-host of the game, here with my fellow co-hosts, Knob and Fig. Let's go ahead and give them a nice lunchtime hello, friends.
A nice lunchtime hello, friends.
Now, lunchtime is when we are recording this podcast. You may enjoy this podcast at any time at your own leisure. So if you're at lunchtime,
no, I'm gonna disagree with you
this
here.
Is lunch pod.
This is a lunch pod, and I think you're only allowed to listen to this during lunchtime. If you are listening to this before 11 o'clock or after 3 o'clock, I want you to turn this podcast off right now and come back to it when it's lunchtime.
Those are now the rules for this lunch pod. So please, I will give a few seconds here for everybody who has been listening to comply with those rules.
Yeah,
and then we'll continue on with the show.
6 o'clock, if it is 6 o'clock and you're listening to this podcast right now, I want you to know that you're a criminal.
And that will be enforced. Knob will make sure to come to each and everyone's door to make sure that the laws get enforced.
That's kind of my role on the podcast.
Yeah, the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now that we've given them ample time to tune out, if they were
now that we've threatened our listeners,
now that they're no longer listening in the or that they are listening in the proper time frame of the lunch pod, let's go ahead.
Yeah,
and
welcome back, people who paused and then came back.
Welcome back. Let's go ahead and kick off this week, as always, with our Channel 6 news segment. And I guess the top news of the week is, friends, we have some competition in our little space. One Phil Lesh has not only announced the Terrapin Clubhouse at a recent show at the Fillmore. He also announced his Phil Zone podcast, which is coming soon. No date for the podcast.
Wait, you're saying there's other podcasts about the Grateful Dead besides ours?
Apparently so.
Wow.
Well, I mean, at least
I thought we had invented the concept. I thought it was just us and Guess the Year.
Yes. So we do have some competition coming in the one Phil Lesh. And yeah, I signed up pre-show. I signed up for the Phil Zone podcast mailing list. So we will be the first ones to know as soon as a release date is announced for the Phil Zone podcast.
Yeah.
And they were also announced 2 shows at the Fillmore, I think, in December.
Yes.
Yeah, so a pretty eventful weekend for one Phil Lesh.
Yeah. I think he's 82 now, and he's still not only, playing music all around the country, but also getting into podcasting. That's pretty progressive. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
my lawyers will be speaking to his lawyers, but yeah.
Can you imagine if Phil shuts us down? If we get
I might write a cease and desist to Phil Lesh just to get his autograph on the response. Tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
You would get chills, and that's who you would get, and you will enjoy it. Period. Moving on from the Phil Zone, if one can ever do that, is we have the official release of the Grateful Dead X Student Glass Gravity Bong.
What?
Yeah, it's these fancy student glass from the Germany, I'm assuming. And I gotta be honest with you, I kind of always thought they were gimmicks. Like, they've been around for a while.
Can you explain to the audience, for those who may not know, or other podcasters who may not know, what a gravity bong is at this point, at this stage, and
well, it's
the development of the bong.
It's a gravity perfected smoke infuser.
Oh,
is really what it is. It's designed for mixologists, chefs, or any purveyors of a good time. Okay, you can use your $600 Grateful Dead gravity bong to infuse meats, to infuse drinks, or just to get high, like any other normal human being would use this thing.
That was excellent.
I'm watching the
Or
website
tobacco
right now.
products. Let's
Or-
call a spade a spade.
I couldn't imagine hitting a water bong full of tobacco. Ugh. Oh
Well-
man, that'd be awful.
Not allowed to say anything that rhymes with soul or song.
So also, if the $600 gravity infuser was not enough for your Grateful Dead cannabis consumption, they also
And it
have
never
a-
is.
and they, well, I'm glad because
I want
they
the gold-plated
also-
version.
They have a Grateful Dead X Student Glass Ash Catcher coming soon for another $80.
Man.
So do you
Oh,
not want
good God.
do you not want ash in your beautiful Grateful Dead Student Glass gravity infuser? In
So
that
the
case,
the whole
better
shebang
buy.
bang is a K for
$680, not including
okay.
not including shipping.
And your parents are just gonna take it away anyway.
I have a bong that I bought from China many moons ago for $15. Use it every day.
I
Every
mean,
day.
you could find a bong for $15 from places other than China.
Very
You could make
true.
a bong for $15.
You can order one off of China though for $15. That's a fact. That's a fact. So yeah, it's another Grateful Dead weed contraption officially.
They're
licensed.
really getting into everything they can dip their beaks into. It's interesting.
What I don't understand is what association do the Grateful Dead have with weed?
Except for all of them.
Oh, sorry. I was hoping that joke would land better.
I like
Thank you.
That was
Thank you.
sarcasm.
Yeah, I was doing one of my little silly bits.
So what I find interesting, real quick,
You silly head.
is they're selling two versions of this gravity infuser. Okay.
Yeah.
One is the gravity infuser, and then they have a compact gravity infuser. They're the same price. The smaller one is 5 inches less big. The bigger one is 5 inches taller at 16 inches. They're selling them for the same exact price. I literally can't even.
I guess you're paying for
It's
the convenience,
craftsmanship.
right?
Yeah, you're getting just as
It's like an iPhone's not that big either. But
Oh, I'm so sorry. The cheap one or the smaller one comes with a premium fabric travel case with
Well, there you go.
handles and straps. Where
so then it's worth it.
where the taller one comes with a reusable craft box with a handle. So
Yeah. Okay. So I don't. Yeah, I would spend $600 to get a velvet bag or whatever. I was paying attention to what you just said.
So folks, yeah, please be a smart consumer when purchasing your Grateful Dead marijuana products. Moving
Remember to buy
on.
3 at a time.
Yes. Yes. Moving on.
They're stocking stuffers, aren't they?
Moving on, so we can hurry up and catch the Goose Billy Strings Europe shows here this afternoon. We have this week's main event of October 30th, 1983, at the Marin, I remembered, County Veterans Auditorium in San Rafael, California. Set 1 gave us Alabama Getaway, Greatest Story Ever Told, Friend of the Devil, New Minglewood Blues, Tennessee Jed, Cassidy, West LA Fadeaway, Hell on a Bucket, and a mighty fine might as well. Fig, what were your thoughts on set 1?
Hey, so I didn't really like this show, which is strange because last week's 94 show I was expecting not to like, and ended up rating it one of my books of the dead. 83 was a year that I was really getting into, and this one fell very short. I think in part because of the pretty poor sound quality of the soundboard that is passed down to us on the archive, and also there is at least one audience tape that was billed as front of board, but wasn't very good in my opinion. So let's jump into the set. Alabama Getaway, pretty poor sound quality, but I did like King Brent's tone. And I will say, King Brent is in front of the mix. So if anybody
Yes.
is interested in knowing what Brent was doing, he's not, behind the other instruments. He's not, kind of adding color and context to what's going on. He's very much the main instrument on this recording, which was interesting, but also kind of not his role. So it didn't really jive with, listening to it as a concert itself. For example, Jerry was very much behind the mix, right? You want the lead guitarist to be in front of the mix because he's the lead guitarist. He's also Jerry Garcia, so it wasn't doing Jerry's awesomeness any justice. So I guess if you want to study this as it's good for like knowing what Brent is doing. The other thing is the drums just sounded awful. I mean, I think Knob refers to it as shoes in a dryer or something like that, and you couldn't really. There's no sound separation between the distinct drums, and just didn't sound very good. So let's continue on. You probably know how I feel about this show already. Greatest story. Again, Bobby's vocals just sounded kind of weird and took away from my enjoyment of the song. Friend of the Devil was very slow. I did like King Brent's tone, and he was doing some good harmonies. It was almost as if Brent was the lead singer on Friend of the Devil. It's kind of interesting because it's a Bobby song. New Minglewood Blues. I was just kind of annoyed with the mix on this one. Tennessee Jed sounded hollow. After the song, Bobby says it seems our drummer is having foot failure, I believe, which is weird. Cassidy don't have much for. LA Fadeaway. This one actually started sounding pretty good. It was very 80s, just kind of sounding in general, like something you'd hear on MTV in the 80s. This one had a really good pocket, so I did like what the rhythm section was putting down on this one. And we get into Hell in a Bucket. This one, Bobby's voice was very, very condensed. It sounded like he was shouting through a tin can and kind of took away from my enjoyment again. And mine as well. This is a Jerry vocal where he sounds out of breath. This was just okay, and that's how they ended the first set on October 30th of 1983. Knob, do you agree or do you disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
I did. We've been talking about this show all week in our group chat, and I've definitely you've been saying that you're not huge into it.
I've been
the first time
nagging
I
on
listened, you have been. You've can I say the word you've used in our group chat?
Yeah, go ahead. It's a free country.
Sure. Well, Fig's been referring to the show as dreadful. So I was kind of dreading listening to it.
Sorry,
I
I really should bite my tongue when it comes to reactions because I feel like that's unfair. Go ahead.
No,
Well,
it's okay.
I might color others' reactions.
That's okay. I called that
Influence.
91 show unlistenable a couple of times.
Do you hear what I say about some of the songs we listen to on this show? Trust me, Dreadful's not
especially
that bad.
Drums in Space. Oh wait, you don't listen to those.
Exactly.
Yeah, I we disagree, and that's the structure of the podcast. If all three of us agreed on which shows were good and which shows were bad, you wouldn't need all three of us, except for how cute we are. But anyway, getting to the show, I liked this one. I wasn't huge on set one. Set one to me was just okay for the most part. It was a lot of songs where nothing was like actively wrong. It was just missing that magic. Alabama Getaway to me is a perfect example of this. It's just a very workmanlike Alabama Getaway. It doesn't do anything particularly wrong. It just doesn't really wow. The highlights of that song are without question the Brent and Jerry solos, and it improves as it goes on, but it's not great. Same with Greatest Story Ever Told, which I think is solid. Again, everything works, but nothing pops. Bobby's vocals sound okay, but the energy was good, and I'll give it that. Very dreamy, Friend of the Devil. Brent's keys and harmonies really elevate this one. A very well-felt Friend of the Devil solo from Jerry. To me, the first song that really works tonight is New Minglewood Blues. I thought there was a great drive to it. It was just a lot of fun, and it was effortlessly fun. There's a lot to like here. I really enjoy what the drummers are adding, what Brent is doing, what Bobby is doing. I think it helps that it's mostly buried in the soundboard, but even pretty passable slide solo from our pal Bob. And then we get to Tennessee Jed, which long time. All right.
Go ahead.
Long-time listeners of the pod will know that I'm not a huge Tennessee Jed person, and I'm not not in love with this one. The solo section has some fun energy. I don't think I ever need to hear a Tennessee Jed that's longer than 4 minutes. To me, it's the changes are too repetitive to justify. It feels like we're going on the exact same journey every single time they start the loop again, and I'm never that into it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then Cassidy is fun. It's not a great Cassidy, but it's a good Cassidy. A very nice use of dynamics to build excitement on the intro. Brent and Bob sound great together on those harmonies. The jam is fun. It's a short Cassidy, but that's the period of time that we're in. And then a slow West LA fadeaway, which is interesting. It's not a bad rendition, but again, it doesn't really wow. It doesn't do much wrong, but it also doesn't do much. Conversely, the highlight of set one, in my opinion, is Hell in a Bucket. This is the kind of fun that you want from early 80s Dead. It's a party, and this is the party. Bobby sounds great once they take that weird vocal effect off his voice. I agree with you that it's weird and off-putting at first, but it tones down after verse 1. Everyone just seems into it. There is an excellent use of dynamics to build energy, and I don't just mean it gets louder and louder and louder. They are really good at knowing when to pull back and get quiet in the interest of building anticipation. It's a very solid rendition of Hell in a Bucket. And then I thought that Might As Well kept the fun party energy up. It's not the nicest sound that Jerry makes all night, but it is probably the most animated Jerry sound you will hear, both vocally and on the guitar. Jerry has woken up. This is Jerry. He is performing for you now. And I think it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, I liked set one more than Fig did, but I'm still not in love with it or anything. What did you think, Game?
I enjoyed it. There were some rough spots. I listened to, if you remember yesterday in our little podcast chat, I asked which version of this show you find folks were listening to, and both of you said you're listening to the Gans Miller mix of this show, while I was actually listening to the Odd. I don't know how I even got on the Odd. I think it just was the top source on my app that I use, so I just went with it. And I pretty much enjoyed set one. Alabama Getaway, Greatest Story, and Friend of the Devil, not the best. New Minglewood was good. I really enjoyed Tennessee Jed. Cassidy, I thought Bob's vocals were a little rough for me. I enjoyed West LA Fadeaway. I really enjoyed Hell in a Bucket, and I really enjoyed Might As Well. That was with the Odd and the soundboard. Enjoyed them both. Yeah, so when you were saying this week, Fig, that it was dreadful, I was like, oh no, here we go. And then I'm like, I'm kind of been digging this. Like, why? So
it may have been, I mean, part of it may have been the source, and I usually default to soundboards. Odds are fun, but I just wasn't digging the particular odd that I listened to.
It wasn't a good one. It was not a good sound.
Yeah, okay. But maybe you just got a better listening experience, regardless. I believe, just to quote from our little chit chat channel, I believe I said that this show makes me feel as if I had the flu, because it just sounded woozy. I don't know. Does woozy ring a bell? Like, does that? Can you identify with that feeling? Yeah,
I can say there's a little bit of grogginess in some of the songs in set one.
Yeah. It's something I've felt in other early '80s shows. It just I don't know. Like, it's like a smoky and hazy and just not all there for some reason. But that's
the smoke. The smoke and the haze continued on to set
nice.
2. Nice.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I actually got my smoke and haze out of a $600 gravity infused.
Now, is that an officially licensed product by the Grateful Dead?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say this set 2 was officially licensed by the Grateful Dead.
It was signed off by the Garcia estate. Set 2 kicked off with Bertha. Then we got Samson and Delilah, Ship of Fools, Playin In The Band, Drums in Space, Truckin, Spoonful, Black Peter, Sugar Magnolia, and of course, it ended with my favorite song, Day Job. Nob, what was your thoughts on set two?
I liked it. I'm gonna spoil the later segment where we say which set we liked more, but without question, set 2 is the better set of the night, in my less than humble opinion. To me, it gets off to a stronger start, a really nice boppy Bertha to get things started. There's not a lot to say about it. It's just an incredibly strong 80s rendition of Bertha. I had a good time listening to it. I really enjoyed the transition into Samson and Delilah. It was very much this song is over and now this song starts, but the drummers came in at just the right time to really build the hype and the energy. I thought the Samson jam had a lot of really fun interplay between Brent and Jerry, and of course the drummers always turn it on for a good Samson. To me, the highlight of this show is the set 2 pre-drums segment. That continues on into Ship of Fools. Again, longtime listeners of the pod will know that I'm not huge on Ship of Fools. It's far from a favorite of mine, but this is an incredibly soulful rendition of the song. Jerry delivers his most passionate vocals of the night, and this is even in a show that includes Black Peter and a slow friend of the devil. To me, the most emotional moment of the evening is this Ship of Fools. I really enjoyed it. Playin In The Band is a fast rendition for sure, but it still has our first, I don't know, to borrow Fish terminology, this is our first and probably only type 2 jam of the night. This is the only time it really gets particularly out there or leaving the form, because Tennessee Jed, there are some nice solos, but it's just soloing over the chord changes. Same with Bertha, same with Friend of the Devil. Whereas here with Playin In The Band, usually what happens with this song is it dissolves and they find some nice, cool sounds to make. And there are some cool sounds here. There's some nice fast runs from Jerry, but to me, things really get cooking about halfway through when it kind of simmers down and then gives itself a little more room to grow yet again. And then we get to drums, which is a fairly standard drums until the marimba is introduced, at which point I can only describe it as it sounds like a Rube Goldberg machine that's made out of cartoon skeletons. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else listening, but that is truly the only way I could describe this drums. Once the machine falls apart, drums gets pretty heavy. Pretty cool. And then space is very lovely. You get a nice Jerry-Bob interplay. Often I find that space is led, obviously, by Jerry, but a lot of times I find it to be Jerry and Brent, or Jerry and Vince, Jerry and keyboards. Here, there's a lot of really nice Jerry-Bob interplay. It reminds me a lot of Stella Blue. I mean, not a lot, but it reminds me a bit of Stella Blue. And then a nice comfortable landing into Truckin. The Truckin harmonies are pretty rough, and that I will not argue with, but it is otherwise a solid rendition. The energy is good. The drummers were adding a lot. I was bracing. I physically braced myself for the sex change line because I realized we were in the early 80s. But then they said that she got her frontal lobes changed, and I was like, I'll take that, I guess.
That's not bad. Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah.
Everything turned out okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I braced myself for it as well.
As soon as Truckin' started, I was having a good time. I was bopping, I was vibing, and then we started about halfway through. I was like, oh, we're in the early 80s. Oh, he's going to say it. Oh, I'm going to stop having fun because he's going to say it. But then he didn't say it. And I was like, all right, I can keep having fun. Yeah, the instrumental in this Truckin' is pretty standard. There's no real jam here, but they do nail the hits. And I am a big fan of the hits in Truckin'. And then a fun transition into Spoonful as Bobby introduces the idea, and then slowly the rest of the band agrees, oh yeah, that is the move. The Spoonful itself is okay, but Bobby really gets into it. I'm going to say for better or for worse. And then we get to Black Peter, which again has a very emotional vocal delivery from Jerry. It's not the strongest song of the night by any stretch, but the feelings are true, and for that I enjoyed it. The harmonies are definitely off again. And then we get to Sugar Magnolia, which is another highlight of the show for me. There's a really good driving energy on Sugar Magnolia. it's one you gotta get up and dance to, and it all makes sense. It makes me understand why those Peanuts kids dance like that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't do anything game changing to Sugar Magnolia. It's not wildly different by any stretch, but it's a really fun button on this show. Brent's contributions to the Sugar Mag's energy cannot be understated, but good God, Bobby is bringing it. Some clean hits on the Sunshine Daydream. Some points off for the last 30 seconds where Bobby sounds like he's being electrocuted. But generally, I would say the Sugar Mag was one of my favorite parts of the set. And then a fine, zippy day job to close things out. We've definitely heard better versions of this song on the podcast. I think it's funny that Jerry barely knows the words to these verses. But it's a fine rendition. It's not a bad day job by any stretch. Anyway, what did you think, Fig?
Sure. So Bertha, I just thought it kind of lacked the fire and the fun of most Berthas to start the second set. Samson, I was about to write something, it never happened. Ship of Fools, I just thought it was too croony. Like it was, Jerry was just kind of crooning it out there, and it just wasn't doing it for me. Although I was a sucker for the big blues solo, which was very smoky and bluesy, and I kind of loved it. Playing in the band, the song section was very fast, but really without a punch. Kind of reminded me of Bertha. The jam was okay. There was an interesting part where Jerry starts doing a descending line on his guitar, and then that was immediately followed by King just kind of figuring out that line and doing the same thing. So that was kind of a cool little interplay there. Drums in Space I did like, or at least I liked the drums. Kind of forget why. Space was interesting for a while and then became uninteresting for me. Trucking I wrote was pretty lovely. However, I could see that being a typo because I write this on my phone. And autocorrect may have... I could have meant lively. I don't know.
I would say it was more lively than lovely.
Okay. But, okay, so this is a lovely, lively Trucking. Spoonful, I did. So again, King was very up in the mix. I liked his backup harmonies on Spoonful, and he kind of like worked almost like an R&B backup singer on the Spoonful section, which was like kind of a nice touch, which I liked. It was nice. It was different. So Spoonful was decent. We get into Black Peter, and I think this was the highlight of the show for me. It was very nice. You know, everybody was playing very nice. The come around part was very strong and very well played. Really nice smoky blues jam at the end there to coincide with Ship of Fools and kind of the bluesier feel of the second set. And Sugar Mags was really fun. Again, King was really up in the mix, so it was kind of fun to hear how he makes a fun song fun. And he does it. You know, he's just all over the keyboard. It was good. I did like it. And Day Job, I got nothing for. Day Job just occurred. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Game.
I love the fact that Day Job just occurred. I like set 2 again. Bertha good, Samson good, Ship of Fools good. Playin In The Band was good. Drum Space, couldn't tell you. Truckin, okay. Spoonful, okay. Black Peter, pretty good. Sugar Mags was pretty good, and Day Job, as you said, existed.
Wild Day Jobs appeared.
Yes. If they would have ended after Sugar Mags, this almost would be on my Book of the Dead. But they didn't.
Really?
I enjoyed it.
I wouldn't go that far, and I liked it.
Sir.
I enjoyed it. Maybe it was the Gans Miller mix that just really pushed it over the top for me versus the Odd, but I dug it.
Apparently 31. Apparently the next night's show is like the show. So maybe you should check that one out.
All right. Moving on from our show review, we once again do not have a Scarlet Fire to rate.
Nope.
However, we kind of do. We kind of do.
Oh, I didn't listen to it, so I'm not rating it.
Knob and I had a whole full discussion about this earlier today.
I
was walking the dog.
That's true.
So was I.
I see. A little multitasking.
I was. So today's what is it? 30 Days of the Dead.
30 Days of Dead.
Yeah. Today's song is Scarlet Fire, and Knob shared it with the group.
I shared it with the group.
Oh, you shared it?
Yeah, I did not.
I do apologize. I'm a bad teacher. Fig shared it with the class. And this is gonna sound stupid. I almost forgot how much I liked Scarlet Fire because it's been so
It's
long
been so long. I
since we
miss
heard
it.
been-
one.
I think we're coming on 6 months without having a Scarlet Fire on the podcast.
Jeez.
Oh, we think so. We don't know the exact date of this. Nob and I have pinpointed it's probably between 79 and 82 is what we're
It's
thinking.
definitely early Brent based on the vocals. I've done no
Yeah.
further research.
Because it tripped me up because that's what I was waiting for. And when that part came on, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like Donna, but it doesn't sound like Brent, or definitely doesn't sound like the 90s.
It was when Brent was doing Donna impressions. At
Yes.
first.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely that early Brent trying to sound like Donna, period.
And then when it transitioned into Fire, I was waiting for the Donna, oh, and that never came. So
They
it
should have
was
let
like,
Brent do that.
They should have let
have.
Game do that.
The game ruins Fire on the Mountain. 8-minute YouTube compilation.
Game sucks.
But yeah,
Game.
so I don't have a rating for the Scarlet Fire. But if you happen to be listening to this podcast, which we hope you are, and you get this far into it, go check out the 30 Days of the Dead and go pick out. It would be the Scarlet Fire that was posted on November the 8th. Really good. I really enjoyed it. But moving on. No, do you have any thoughts on what you listened to for that Scarlet Fire?
I liked it. I mean, I gotta be better with 30 Days of the Dead because I go right into it just going, all right, what are the clues? What am I listening for? What am I finding? I think I gotta start doing it where like the first time I just listen to it and have a good time hearing a Scarlet Fire, and then I go, okay, but is that early Brent? Is that late Brent? Do you hear Bruce in there? I was very much treating it like a puzzle to solve, but I enjoyed what I've heard.
Well,
It was-
you
it
were
was-
on a podcast that literally does that puzzle.
Yeah, and I did really bad at it, but clearly it doesn't still haunt me a year plus later. I who even remembers what 1989 rendition of Foolish Heart I claimed was from 1993?
Whew.
You do.
Who
Who even wakes up in a cold sweat thinking about that anymore?
I would.
who even talks to their therapist about the fact that it sounded bad, but I could only hear one keyboardist, so I assumed it had to be solo Vince era and not, in fact, late Brent era.
I thought it was the bad man, but it was the good man. Moving on.
Please.
I spoiled that this show did not make my Book of the Dead, but it almost did.
No, you said
Almost.
did.
No, it would have if not for Day Job.
Yes, Day Job.
That was it was hanging on a thread there, and
Yes,
Day Job
yes.
pushed it over to the no. Wow.
Yes. So Knob or Fig, does this show make your Book of the Dead? No
Nope.
and no.
No, I think of the three of us, you liked it the most.
I think so. And in fact, I'm really going to buck the trend here. I'm going to vote for set one.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
That might as well grab me.
There are some fun songs in set one. I also enjoy the Hell in a Bucket a lot. But no, I'm voting set two for honestly just consistency's sake.
And Game is biased that if he voted set 2, he'd be inflicting drums in space onto the audience. So I see Game's game there. But I'm going to go set 2,
Yeah.
even though that is something I think about perennially. 2 was the
See,
better
I have
set.
nothing but contempt for our listeners, so I want them to hear both drum space and
I think-
an 83 Day Job.
I feel like you, Knob, view it as like a challenge, like a creative writing challenge of how do I actually speak, a review of Drums in Space into existence. And
Yeah.
You do a good job.
I want the audience to let me know if to them it sounds like a Rube Goldberg machine made out of cartoon skeletons.
I thought that was very evocative. I definitely
you.
had
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely paint a picture. And it's appreciated because I'm just like, yup, that happened. And game just it tries to pretend it did not happen.
um. So now our next big question: who is your mother trucker? Fig, I'm going to let you pick first.
King Brent's my mother trucker. I ride with King Brent.
Ooh. Knob, your mother trucker, please.
Yeah, this is also a King Brent night. Um, he's just all over the place, and his contributions to the energy, both in terms of his keyboard playing and his vocal harmonies, cannot be understated. This show is as good as it is because of Brent.
And I will let both of you decide who I'm going to pick.
Is it Brent?
King Brent.
Yes, you are correct. I agree. It was wonderful. Jerry's vocals on mine as well was really fun. But Brent drove the whole show.
Jerry
So
did
Brent,
have a good night. I
yeah,
will agree with you there. This is a strong night for Jerry, but yeah, this is a Brent show.
weak night for Bobby. We don't say who was the weakest, but if I had to say weakest, I'd say weak for Bobby, which is rare, I would say.
Yeah, he's given a lot in terms of energy, but it's often at the detriment to like sounding like
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's definitely weird. Now we have our Reddit comments, and we actually have quite the list of Reddit comments. Good Sir Fig, how would you like to handle these?
I could do the first bunch, and then we could have just talk about the second set from the last big comment there. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, I'll jump into it. So these are Reddit comments. We are stickied on the Grateful Dead subreddit. It's www.reddit/r/Grateful Dead. And people from time to time will comment, and the best comments get featured on the podcast. So if you want to be listened to by literally scores of people, give us your opinion of the weekly show, and you may be listened to by literally scores of people. So one commenter who frequently comments and likes to be heard by literally scores of people is Docman427, who writes, I know I said this before, but I find listening to early versions of songs, aka West LA Fadeaway and Hell in a Bucket, that would become live staples of the band, always fascinating. It could be how the soundboard is mixed, or just how the new song is by the performance. In my opinion, Bucket sounds more fleshed out than West LA Fadeaway. And I think that was consistent with Knob's opinion. This show as a whole is pretty solid. There's always something about October Grateful Dead shows that just feels extra special. And then we have user Cabonius, who says, I'm with ya. I find it interesting as well. In 1983, they were woodshedding those two tunes. Bucket got played 25 times that year, and West LA was 18 times. One thing I like about these earlier versions is that Weir and Garcia are really into their new compositions, which Garcia shows in part by not forgetting any lyrics. Awesome. So I will kick it over to, let's say, Knob to talk about Mr. or user Cabonius's review of the second set there.
Sure. I'm going to... Cabonius left a very long and very good and thoughtful review. I'm going to only read part of it just in the interest of time, but if you would like to read the whole thing, and I recommend you do, check us out on reddit.com/r/Grateful Dead, where you could find the thread stickied, and if you click Fig's account, you could go back and find this one. Anyway, I'm going to just highlight what Cabonius had to say about set 2. And then second set, well, fun to see Bertha into Samson instead of the much more common Bertha into Good Lovin'. And then I've always felt that Ship of Fools is a good barometer for Garcia's mood. We know he really liked it as a composition, liked singing it, so it just feels like a good omen when it sits in that third spot. Here again on this night, Garcia's voice sounds strong. He's got good control, just a sweet rendition. Solid plan. I could wish for it to have been a bit longer because it felt like they were mining some good territory. And to briefly edit, I'm going to step back into being Knob, and I'm going to editorialize and say that I fully agree. My only gripe with Playin In The Band is I genuinely wish it was about 5 minutes longer. Anyway, back to Cabonius. But just when they're starting to get...
you speak. Like,
Yes.
yeah, just put on, if you just put on an accent, then we'll know.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But
Make
when
it
they're
Cockney.
but when they're starting to get good and weird with a couple of I'm not going to keep doing that. With a couple of really good spooky bits of sustain, instruments get put down and the stage is left to the rhythm devils. The first half of Space has a nice bit of jamming, maybe even a little hint of a Spanish jam, before pivoting to signal the truckin' that is to come. Spoonful is a fun little treat, and then Black Peter seems like a decent choice for the night before Halloween, although my heart's own desire would have been for a China doll. Not sure how the fans felt about the return of Day Job. It departed after New Year's Eve '82, only to reappear in September. So the Mansion of October 1983 is one heck of a place. Everything I've heard of it, the 2 MSG shows, Hartford, the Centrum shows, and the Halloween show, has been consistently well played and downright hot at times. On that note, this show doesn't strike me as particularly blistering. Feels like the band is happy to be at home in the very comfy confines of Marin Vets. What does that place hold anyway? 2,200 folks? But still, cool. Even if it wasn't a barn burner, I can say that I'd have been one happy hometown fan after driving up from my home in San Mateo County to catch this show and or the following night. And what great value for money 40 years ago. Not sure what it costs to get into these shows, but I know the ticket prices from the BCT shows following Halloween were a mere $15. What an era.
Do we know
man.
what BCT? What is BCT? No. That's BTO.
We don't. Let me look real quick. I just want to also pause for a moment and stress. Oh, Berkeley Community Theater.
Okay.
I just want to stress that. I mean, I googled it, but I know it now. But you like $15, man. I know we talk about this all the time, and it's just the nature of things. But like you don't get tickets for a band as big as the Dead is. So
you don't get tickets for anything.
No, like that's
no.
Like
I mean, $15 is the fee.
It's processing fees.
Not even like that's
parking costs.
Partial fee.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Next week on our Things Are Too Expensive podcast, let's talk about the price of milk. God dang it.
The price of bongs are too damn high.
Back in my day, you could get a $15 bong from China, but the kids these days, they're buying their $600 branded bong with their iced coffee.
And the fancy ash catchers. Back in my day, we just
damn avocados in their gravity bong. Anyway.
Moving on here, next week we have December 15th, 1994 at the LA Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, there is not much. We get a lovely Lazy River Road that will be enjoyable. We get a Way to Go Home, Ocarina.
Hey, Foolish Heart's one of my faves.
A Liberty.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, what I really hope for next week on the podcast is we get a 1994 Road Jimmy.
And Bobby plays acoustic guitar during Space. So maybe I will actually pay attention to Drums in Space next week. Let's go ahead and do our bookkeeping as always. Please go ahead and smash that subscribe button and like and share with any and all of your Grateful Dead loving friends and family. You may find us at wherever podcasts are downloaded, but not ones that loosely rhymes with Ready or Not. Hey, Ready or Notify. We're not on that service. We're not on that service. You will find us on any other major podcast platform. If you do prefer to get your podcast directly from the source, please do that at helponthewaypod.podbean.com. If you would like to email us, please do so to helponthewaypod@gmail.com. Communicate with us on Reddit at reddit.com/r/Grateful Dead. YouTube, there's a pile of videos coming literally in queue to be uploaded as I say this message at youtube.com/helponthewaypod. And I am on Kick every now and then at kick.com/thegd channel. Any parting words from my friends Knob or Fig?
Yeah, I don't actually have contempt for you, the audience. I like you all a lot. But that being said, enjoy listening to Drum Space and Day Job, fuckers.
I'm going to invoke my right to remain silent. From the top.
And thank you once again for listening to the Help on the Way podcast.
Bertha, don't you come around here anymore. That's why it reads, I am on my bended knee. Bertha, don't you come around here anymore. Ran into a rainstorm, I dug back into a bar door. It's all night pouring, Lord, but not a drop on. Test me, why don't you arrest me? Put me in the jailhouse till the sun go down, till it go down. I had to move, really had to move. That's why it means I am on my bended knees. Bertha, don't you come around here anymore. I had to move, really had to move. That's why it means I am on my bended knees. Bertha, don't you come around here anymore. I had to move, really had to move. That's why, if you please, I am on my bended knees. Bertha, don't you come around here anymore. Anymore, 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 anymore.
Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair. Ooh, she had good looks, God knows the gold black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind. When first he saw this woman, Lord took leave his mind. Delilah, she gained old Samson's knee. Said, tell me where your strength lies, if you please. And she spoke so kind, God knows, and talked so fair. So Samson said, Delilah, you cut off my hair. And shave my head, finish my hand. my strength come natural as any old man. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. You read about Samson, oh, from his birth. He was the strongest man that ever lived on earth. One day while Samson was walking along, looked down on the ground, he saw an old Joe bone with stretch out his arm, God knows things broke like threads. When he got to moving, 10,000 was dead. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. Well, Samson and Delilah, they got in the top. Samson, he crawled up on the lion's back. You read about this lion, he killed a man with his paws. Samson got his hands up around that lion's jaw, and he ripped that beast. God was killed him dead, and the bees made honey in the lion's head. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. If
If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. I would tear this old building down. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. Went to see the captain, strangest I could find. Laid my proposition down, laid it on the line. I won't stay for Vegas pay, likewise gold and jewels, but I would stay to learn the way to sink your ship of fool, ship of fool, on a cruel sea, ship of fool, sail away from me. It was later than I thought when I first believed you. Now I cannot share your laughter, ship of fool. Saw your first ship sink and drown from rocking of the boat, and all that could not sink or swim was just left there to float. I won't leave you drifting down, but oh, it makes me wild. With 30 years upon my head, to have you call me child, ship of fool, on a cruel sea, ship of fool, sail away from me. It was later than I thought when I first believed you. Now I cannot share your laughter, ship of fool. ship of food on a cruel sea. Ship of food, sail away from me. It was later than I thought when I first believed you. Now I cannot share your laughter. Ship of fools, the bottle stands as empty as it was filled before. Time there wasn't plenty, but from that cup no more. Though I could not caution all, you know I still not one of you. Don't let your hand to raise no flame atop no ship of fools, ship of fools on a cruel sea. Ship of fools, sail away from me. Was there than I thought when I first believed. Now I cannot share your laughter. Ship of fools. It was later than I thought when I first believed you. Now I cannot share your laughter. Ship of fools.
folks trust reason, others trust your mind. I don't trust nothing, but I know it come out right. See it once again now. Well, I hope you understand. When it's done over, Lord, man, it's just a man playing in the band. Daybreak on the land. Some folks look for answers, others look for fights. Some folks climb in treetops, just looking for their kites. And I can tell your future, well, look what's in your hand. But I can't stop for nothing, I'm just playing in the band. Playing in the band. Daybreak on the land. Shower, will at my command. You just keep turning around and playing in the band. And if a man among you got a sin upon his hand, then it cast on at me, boy, playing in the band. Playing in the band. Daybreak on the land. Truckin', got my chips cashed in. I keep truckin' like a good-old man. Together, we're more or less in line. I just keep truckin'. Oh, oh, oh. Arizona, and the pressure my kids on Main Street. Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all the same street. You typical civvy involved in a typical daydream. Hang it up to see what tomorrow brings. Dallas, got a soft machine. Houston, too close to New Orleans. New York, got the ways and means, but just won't let you be. Oh no. So most of the cats you with are typical true love. Most of the time they're sitting and crying at home. One of these days, people, they better be going out of the door and down to the studio alone. Truckin', like a good-old man. Once told me you got to play your hand. Sometimes the cards are worth the time if you don't lay 'em down. Sometimes the lights don't shining on
ship it's been.
See, what in the world ever became a sweet chain? She lost the sparkle, you know she isn't the same. Ever since she went and had her frontal lobes changed, all the friend can say is in a shame. Back to Buffalo,
I've been thinking, you got the mellow soul. It takes time to pick a place to go. Just keep trucking. Oh, oh, oh.
so you think of hanging around and you'd like to travel. You're tired of traveling, you want to settle down. Well, I guess they can revoke your soul for trying. Get out of the door and light on.
Sometimes the lights don't shine on me. Other times I can barely see. Lead me a curse to me. Oh, strange ship it's been.
Truckin',
I'm a-going home. Oh, baby, back where I belong. Back home, sit down and patch my bones and get back trucking. Oh, oh, get back trucking on. Get back trucking on. Yeah, get back trucking on. Get back trucking on. Get back trucking on. Get back trucking on. Get back trucking on.
spoonful of tea, just a little spoon of your precious love, good enough for me. Men lies about it, men cries about it, spoonful. Baby dies about it, spoonful. 'Cause everybody fighting about it. Let's spoon that spoon, that spoonful. Let's spoon that spoon, that spoonful. Spoon that spoon, that spoonful. Everybody fighting about a spoonful. Desert sand, just a little spoon at 45. Sing the cries about it. Spoonful. They even dies about it. Spoonful. For everybody fighting about it. With that spoon, that spoon, that spoonful. Spoon, that spoon, that spoonful. Spoon, that spoon, that spoonful. Everybody fighting about a spoon.
All of my friends come to see me last night. I was laying in my bed and died. Anybody know from Sam and Jill? Say the weather down here so fine. Just then the wind came squalling through the door. But who can the weather command? Just wanna have a little peace to die and a friend or two I love at hand. find myself alive. Tomorrow maybe go beneath the ground. See how everything lead up to this day, and it's just like any other day that's ever been. Sun going up and then the sun is going down. Shine through my window and my friends they come around. Come around. Come The people might know, but the people don't care that a man could be as poor as me. Take a look at poor Pete. He's lying in pain. Run and see.
Sugar Magnolia, blossoms blooming, heads all empty and I don't care. So my baby down by the river, you should have to come up to the air. Sweet blossom, come on, under the willow. We can have high times if you the vibe. We can Discovering the wonders of nature, moving in the rushes down by the riverside. She's got everything delightful. She's got everything I need. Takes the wheel when I'm singing double. Pays my ticket when I speak. Through rays of violet, she can wait in a drop of dew. She don't come and I don't follow. Waits backstage while I sing to you. She can dance the Cajun rhythm, fetching like a Willie's in four-wheel drive. She's my summer love in the spring, fall, and winter. She can make happy in an eye. Sugar Magnolia, ringing that bluebell, swung up in sunlight. Come on and sing, I walk you in the sunshine. Come on, honey, come on home with me. She's got everything delightful. She's got everything I need. Breathing the pines in the sunlight, night moonlight, breathing in the sunlight, yes indeed. Sometimes when the cuckoo's crying, when the moon is halfway down, times when the night is dying, take me out and I want to ride, walk around. Sunshine daydream, walk you in the tall trees. We're going where the wind goes, and blooming, blooming like a red rose. So come on over, sweet lady, I'm telling you. Come on, sing it, I walk you in the morning sunshine. I'll do anything now. Sunshine daydream, come on, daydream. Sunshine daydream, hey, coming from a sweet, sweet, sweet dream. Sunshine daydream, daydream. Oh, hi, sunshine, come on. daydream. We in a cool stream. Roll on out your window, come on now. We're going with the window. We're never gonna miss us. Run out, we got you on the sunshine. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream. Twinkle of a daydream. Maybe you can let go, maybe you pay. Still gotta work that 8-hour day. Like that job or not, keep it on ice while you're lining up your long shot. Which is to say, hey, keep your day job, give it away. Keep your day job. Whatever they say, keep your day job till your night job pays. Steady boy, study that 8-day. Never underrate that paycheck part. Like that, got a hand on the nose and a tongue in the car, which is to say, hey, keep your day job, give it away, keep your day job, whatever they say, keep your day job, till your night job paid.
world. They ask me like I know you don't. I tell you what to do when I know you won't, which is to say, hey, keep your day job, live it away. Keep your day job, whatever they say. Keep your day job till your night job pay. Keep your day job, give it away. Keep your day job, whatever they say. Keep your day job till your night job pay. Keep your day job, give it away. Keep your day job, whatever they say. Keep your day job till your night job pay.
Thank y'all. Good night.